What's up guys and welcome to FPL Today. I'm your host JNO. Welcome to the channel and welcome to Fixtures and Form for Game Week 36, where we look at the players on form who have decent fixtures till the end of the season so we can bring them into our sides and optimise our points and get the highest ranking possible as we do that final sprint to Game Week 38. So if you enjoy FPL content and you find what I do valuable on this channel, please consider subscribing and also hit that like button and that notification bell if you want to know when my videos are out, because apparently YouTube doesn't think hitting subscribe is enough if you want to get all my videos in your subscription box. And thank you for your patience with all the Football Blogging Awards promotion. If I become a nominee, it will unfortunately happen again, but you get a break from it for now. And also, before we get into the video, let me know how your game week is going down in the comments down below as we look towards Game Week 36. And we start off with this episode with the defenders, and the defenders I'm looking at moving forward with some good fixtures, not necessarily with a double game week in Game Week 37, which should help some of you that don't have a wild card or a free hit for Game Week 37. And the first one I'm looking at is James Tompkins at 4.3 million. Crystal Palace still have a lot to play for as they currently find themselves in 14th, which is 6 points above the relegation zone. Now, depending on what happens elsewhere, especially with Southampton who have a game in hand, they may need a couple more points to consider themselves safe in the Premier League. Tompkins in the last 6 game weeks at 4.3 million has 2 clean sheets from 5 starts. He's scored 2 goals, which is joint first for defenders. He's had 6 chances, which is joint 5th, but big chances he's had 4. That's 2/3 of his chances in total have been big chances, which puts him as first for big chances. And he's had on target 4 chances as well, which puts him at joint first, with a minute per chance at 75 minutes and a goal involvement of 25%. Now, he's going to be someone that a lot of people aren't looking at, which means he's a differential if you are chasing your mini leagues or looking for someone to hopefully push you up further in the overall rankings. He will be someone that not a lot of people are going to be looking at, and he's got Leicester, Stoke and West Bromwich Albion in the last 3 and potentially could be the difference in your season. Now, of course, you are going to be looking for some more heavy hitting defenders, but at 4.3 million, Tompkins is an enabler, which should allow you to put more expensive defenders in around him, and the fixtures aren't too bad with his current form. But if you are looking for someone a little bit more expensive, you can look at Victor Moses, who does have a double game week. At 6.5 million, Chelsea probably are focused on the FA Cup. However, their fixtures in the Premier League include Swansea, Liverpool, Huddersfield and Newcastle. And apart from that Liverpool game, you'd say those fixtures look pretty good for them. Chelsea currently sitting in at 5th on 63 points. They're 5 points behind Tottenham Hotspurs. If Tottenham Hotspurs do mess up, which is possible in a game or two, Chelsea could find themselves in 4th, which would be a big plus for their season as they try to get Champions League football instead of the Europa Cup. And also, Chelsea will probably want to at least keep 5th, and they have Arsenal just 6 points behind them at the moment as well, with the same amount of games. So there is still stuff to play for Chelsea in the league, depending on how the next few matches go. Victor Moses has only actually had 3 starts, so it would be a bit of a gamble, and of course there is the risk of rotation, but he also has got 1 goal so far in the last 6 game weeks, which puts him at joint 3rd for defenders, and assists he's got 2, which puts him joint 1st. Chances he's got 6, which puts him joint 5th. On target chances he's got 3, which puts him joint 3rd. A minute per chance is at 42.2 minutes, and his goal involvement is at 75%. So potentially he could be a big differential, as a lot of people look to the likes of Marcus Alonso and potentially Cesar Azpilicueta instead of Victor Moses. So if you are looking for a differential, right now the stats suggest he could be your man. Moving on to the midfield, and we've got the obligatory Spurs midfielder. Now that they are out of the FA Cup, I like the look of Tottenham Hotspur's midfielders more, as they now don't have anything else to play for but getting Kane his goals to try and get Golden Boot and to solidify their position in the Premier League table. Currently sitting at 4th, they are 3 points behind Liverpool with a game in hand. If they win their game in hand and all their other games, and Liverpool win all their other games, they will be on the same points. And at the moment, the goal difference does favour Liverpool. But if Liverpool slip up, Spurs could potentially get 3rd place. Now, are they going to slip up with the Champions League? Liverpool focusing on that potentially. There could be a chance for Spurs to grab 3rd. So Spurs could definitely have a lot to play for without the distraction of the FA Cup. Now, the midfielder I'm going with from the Spurs side, and it's changed from last game week, is Christian Eriksen at 9.5 million. He just seems so important to that side at the moment and seems to be consistent in his performances and being involved in a lot of what is happening. Spurs have Watford, West Bromwich Albion, Newcastle and Leicester to go in the last 3 game weeks, and he's had 5 starts in the last 6. Goals, he's had 3, which puts him joint second for a midfielder, and assists, he's got 2, which puts him at joint second as well. Chances at 16 puts him at second on his own, and on target he's had 7 shots on target, which puts him joint 4th, with a minute per chance at 28.1 and a goal involvement at 46%. Now, to be honest, you could probably pick Dele Alli, Eriksen, Son, and they will do all right for you. Different game weeks, different ones of these players do well. But if I had to pick one right now, I would probably go with Eriksen, as he's got the consistency. But Ali and Son definitely have the explosiveness in certain game weeks. So I suppose it depends what you are going for. And also you've got to keep an eye on the press conferences and the potential team sheets that will play in these last 4 games. The other midfielder we're looking at, and of course it is Wilfried Zaha at 6.9 million. I wrote the book on Wilfried Zaha, the Chronicles you could say, because I've written a couple of books on him. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the Fantasy Football Surgery podcast. Try and find my appearances on there and you'll get a bit of a taste for my on and off love affair with Wilfried Zaha. But Crystal Palace, no double game week, but they do have Leicester, Stoke and West Bromwich Albion. Don't know what that eye is doing on the end of West Bromwich Albion, but never mind. As I said already with Tompkins, Palace still have stuff to play for, and Zaha potentially is an out of position player playing up front, leading the line. 5 starts in the last 6, he's got 3 goals, which puts him joint second for a midfielder, and 2 assists, which puts him joint second. Chances at 12 puts him at joint 8 for a midfielder, but on target, joint 4th with 7. Minutes per chances at 41.2 minutes, and goal involvement is at 56%. So Wilfried Zaha could be a very important player for Crystal Palace and their hope to survive in the Premier League, and because of that could get a lot of potential points. And then finally moving on to strikers, and we've gone with Ashley Barnes. Again, changing between him and Chris Wood. He's cheap, which allows you to bulk up the other 2 striking positions. And Burnley have Brighton Hove Albion and Bournemouth either side of potentially a tough Arsenal fixture. However, despite that tough fixture, Burnley are currently in 7th. Don't look like they're going to be caught by Leicester City, although Leicester do have a game in hand. At most, if Burnley lost all their games, Leicester would have to win all of theirs to get 7th from Burnley. But Burnley could potentially overtake Arsenal if they do manage to do well and Arsenal slip up, potentially getting themselves 6th, which would be a great finish for Burnley, so they still have something to play for in my eyes. Ashley Barnes has been important for them, especially in the last 6 game weeks, with 6 starts, always starting, which is a plus. Goals, he's got 4, which is joint first out of strikers. Chances, he's got 11, which is joint 9th, which isn't great. And big chances is pretty poor compared to a lot of strikers with only 1. However, his goal involvement at 36%, his minute per chance at 47.1, and his pure conversion to get 4 goals out of 11 chances, with only 1 of them being a big chance, shows the kind of form he's currently in, and potentially that could ride through till the end of the season. And then finally we have Aubameyang at 10.8 million. I tossed and turned over this one because it is the evening after Arsenal beat West Ham and Lacazette managed to get 2 goals. However, I'm looking at this in the fact that after that Europa game, potentially Aubameyang could start because Lacazette will get some rest. Then there'll be the second leg, and then Aubameyang could potentially play in the Burnley game as well. Maybe then Lacazette comes in with the Leicester and Huddersfield game in mind. But underlying stats and the fact that I think he will play so Lacazette can rest would put me in favour of Aubameyang, but Lacazette of course does have his pluses as well. At the moment, Arsenal, like I have already mentioned, are 6th. They could potentially get 5th, and stranger things have happened. Spurs, if they didn't win any of their last games, Arsenal could still get 4th. I don't see it happening. At most, they're probably playing for 5th. And of course, they do have Burnley behind them. And I think Arsenal will want to at least finish in the top 6 clubs in the Premier League. So they have something to play for. They do have the distraction of Europa Cup. However, Aubameyang won't have that distraction, which is why he's likely to play. So there could be potential for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang to continue on with his goal scoring, because in the last 6 out of 4 starts, he's had 4 goals, which puts him joint first, with 14 chances, which puts him 4th. Big chances, he had 5, which puts him joint 3rd for strikers, and minute per chance is at 25.8, not minutes per chance created. I've done another typo. And goal involvement rate is at 58%, which is pretty decent for any player in the league. Anyway guys, I hope this video has helped you and given you some other players to consider for your FPL sides as we come to the end of the season. Before I sign off, just want to say a huge thank you, of course, for watching the video. If you have enjoyed, again, consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell, hitting the like button, all of that good stuff. Also, check out the links in the description down below if you want to support the channel. And also, let me know in the comments as well with how you're doing in the game week, which Fantasy Football World Cup game you think I should maybe cover during the World Cup. That would be much appreciated. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.